I'm just a gigolo, and everywhere I go, people know the pride. One of the neat things about doing this show, we do it on the audio, we do it on the video side, and this happens to be an audio recording, is that I get to go back and touch base with those whom I have known through the years, those who have kept up a passion and a devotion for kids and sports and for the great history that is in Fairfield County with respect to athletes, athletics, community development. And I am so pleased today to have my good friend, we have been friends going back in Rippewam High School, probably before the flood, Tom Chiappetta. Tom is the executive director of the Fairfield County Sports Commission, and he is charged with the marvelous work of commemoration of fine individuals and the great works they have done in the Fairfield County Sports Hall of Fame. And I'm so pleased to have Tom this morning. How are you, pal? How you doing?
Tony, great to talk to you, and I'm really looking forward to this and catching up because, well, we're longtime friends. Sometimes we don't get a chance to see each other, but if we can get on the phone for a bit and talk about sports, which has always been an important part of both our lives and the kids, really appreciate it.
Oh, listen, me even more so. Now, what brings you to your place in your professional career now of being the executive director of the Fairfield County Sports Commission? And I know we were chatting before, and there's a whole lot of other stuff you're doing. Why don't you take us kind of from June of 1973 forward in about a minute and tell us how you got to where you got?
Okay, quickly, literally, right out of school, I went to UConn. I worked in the sports information office. I was working as a sports writer locally while I was in school. Then, as soon as I got out, I got a sports writing job at the Bridgeport Post, now the Connecticut Post here in Fairfield County. Spent 11 years doing that, two passions, sports and writing, thanks to my English teacher, Barbara Schwartz, so I have to give her a shout out for 2 years I had her in high school. And then from the sports writing, I went into sports PR, sports marketing. I had my own business, and my last corporate job was the head of national public relations for Fox Sports Net, the regional sports network
right.
Fox owns around that show all the teams. And I decided to go back and start my own business. It's been about, it's over a dozen years now, and I have a consulting firm called Good Sports Solutions, and what I primarily do are anything that's related to sports philanthropy or charitable events or activities, and doing PR, marketing, putting events together, fundraising, celebrities, anything under that umbrella. And it's been very, very rewarding because I'm kind of now, as the executive director of the Sports Commission, and they're our main client and running our Fairfield County Sports Hall of Fame, kind of a big fish in a little pond here in Fairfield County, although it's not so little, and geographically it is. But that gave me a real opportunity to reconnect and to really give back in the community. We're a nonprofit. We're not really a traditional sports commission where most of that is about economic development, bringing in new events, and growing existing ones for filling up hotel rooms. We're really about being a resource for the community, and our simple mission is kind of healthy body, healthy mind, personal development through sports, and really promoting an active, healthy lifestyle. So it's been very rewarding. So that's my quick story, and hopefully for you, that's just enough of an update. And
that is terrific. And I, in looking at the roster of the Hall of Fame, it's an amazing array of individuals, and the class of 2017 honorees that you've told me, Ken Green out of Danbury and Randy LaJoy out of Norwalk. And the first thought I had was, wow, auto racing and golf. You know, it was always like, you know, we always thought that sports were like baseball and football and, I don't know, maybe professional wrestling, but it's really, sports is a much bigger thing today than it was like when we were kids.
Well, without question, and we really pride ourselves in, while the ball and stick sports are traditionally still the ones, and we have some incredible people in our Hall of Fame there. But the other sports that people have, either whether it's coaching or playing, and we've really been excited that we've been able to get Randy LaJoy from Norwalk was our first race car driver on the NASCAR circuit. He won a ton of Busch titles and races. But quickly, in 2016, we probably had the most unlikely one. But his story, when everybody heard it, nobody really kind of knew who he was. It's a gentleman named Bill Steinkraus, who grew up in Darien and was a champion equestrian, so horse riding, show jumping. And he happens to be the most decorated Olympic athlete in Fairfield County history. He won Olympic gold in 1968 at the Mexico Olympics, and he had 3 other medals, actually 4 other medals, so he had 5 medals in participating in, I believe, in 6 different Olympics. So, you know, we've got people like that. We, as you mentioned, Kenny Green in golf. The last 2 years, we actually put in 2 golfers. J.J. Henry from Fairfield has been on the Pro Tour, the PGA Tour for 20 years, been very successful, won several events. So 2 years in a row, and Kenny's story, I think as many may know, that he was in a tragic car accident where his brother, ex-girlfriend, and his dog, everybody that meant anything to him in life, were killed, and he lost a leg in an amputation, so it's a very inspirational story. And, you know, we've got a swimming coach from Greenwich High, Terry Lowe, who's in water polo, legendary, probably has more wins than any other high school coach, maybe in the entire country, to people who are in the Hall of Fame nationally for their sports. We've got 6 Olympic gold medal winners in our Hall of Fame, including Bill, our first year in 2005. We had Dorothy Hamill, Bruce Jenner, who grew up in Newtown, and Bill Toomey, all won Olympic gold medals.
Oh, sure.
And Christine Lilly, who's won a couple of medals and also a World Cup. And a young lady named Sue Murs, who was on the first U.S. Olympic women's hockey team that won the gold medal, and is still the only gold medal that the U.S. has won, because, as you know, Canada seems to have their number in the Olympics. So it's a wide variety from the local people, the coaches, to these magnificent sports personalities at levels of Major League Baseball, football, Hall of Famers like Steve Young and Andy Robustelli in football, Calvin Murphy from Norwalk, an NBA Hall of Famer who was just up for the Norwalk Old Timers dinner. Julius Boros is in the Golf Hall of Fame. So when we talk about our group of people, we have such a tradition for really, there's 37 communities in Fairfield County, and Tony, as you know, it's only about 30 to 40 minutes long of driving through. But the names in sports, and why we were very fortunate to grow up in this area, we've had a great deal of fun in terms of recognizing everybody and keeping our traditions going.
Well, you know, for certain, and as I look at this and as we talk about people whom you kind of think, you know, there should be more recognition for them. Several times I've talked to Paul Asianti, the coach up at Trinity, and he deals in a sport which is a very, 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 very obscure sport, but it's really quite a story. And he's so grateful for whatever attention we can give him. And I told him one day, I said, you know, if this were the days of the wide world of sports with Howard Cosell and Jim McKay and the little fillers, you'd get these little odd things where people would become these national legends. It would be a different story. But in this whole mega glot of whatever it is, we completely lost the focus on these people who, you know, really do great things, but they're just overshadowed by the Patriots, the Yankees, the Red Sox, and I'm just so happy you're doing this.
Well, on that level, as far as the Hall of Fame is concerned, we can go on and on and on forever with this, because
sure.
Not only do we have people that we still need to honor, but there's a new generation like a Craig Breslow, who, for instance, who went into the Hall of Fame in 2014, won a World Series as a relief pitcher with the Red Sox, had a great baseball career. Julie Chu that same year, who carried the Olympic flag in the last Olympics. Okay, she was a women's hockey player. We've got a guy like Max Pacioretty, who's the captain of the Montreal Canadiens from New Canaan. So you've got those people, kind of a new generation. But more importantly for us, Tone, we honor a sports person of the year from 16 different communities in Fairfield County. And that's really our main focus, because these are the people who are out there every day, every year, doing great things in your community, and we recognize them for them. And they have some great stories. We've had a national champion archery young lady from Trumbull. That's not exactly a sport, although archery is growing. We try to make sure that all of the sports are being taken care of. I would say at least the last 6 or 7 years in a row, we've recognized young, most of them have been distance runners, but runners or track and field honorees that have been incredible college athletes, high school athletes. The only person who's in from track and field was a woman named Cece Hop from Greenwich in 2011. Mm-hmm. And so she represents kind of that whole world. But the sports persons of the year are really, really important to us. And the wide variety of honoring people from 90-year-old umpire who worked in Westport as a volunteer, never took a nickel his whole life, to, as I mentioned, a young lady who's in archery, to some of the Little League teams. They've gone to the World Series. So from 10, 11 through 90, we've got a senior Olympic athlete named Mary Roman from Norwalk that she actually, if you include that, she's bypassed Bill Steinkraus as far as the real Olympics. But this woman is in her early 80s, and she's still competing internationally and nationally. She was our sports person of the year many years ago, and we just recognized her at our dinner because she came back and won 2 or 3 more medals. She's throwing the discus of all things.
This is amazing.
I mean, at 80 years.
This is amazing.
She's our best role model. So that's the scope of the kind of things we're trying to do within our communities and within the county.
Now, 2 things, believe me, the time window always closes, and 2 things I would like to discuss with you. You tell me there's an important, either a Vision A, if I can go back to the days of Barbara Schwartz, or a little scenario with Charlie Morton and Charlie Nagy.
Well, Charlie Morton just walked into World Series history, as anybody who watched the games for Houston Astros. Charlie's been pitching. This was his 10th year in the major leagues. He's from a town called Easton. Charlie Nagy, who pitched in the major leagues for a long period of time,
yes, he did.
won a ton of games.
And completed games.
and was the pitcher in the 1997 World Series that, unfortunately, he was with the Indians, and in extra innings, they lost the game. Now, here's 2 guys that basically their towns are 5 minutes apart. 20 years later, Nagy in 97 unfortunately gives up an unearned run thanks to Tony Fernandez's error, and Edgar Renteria, who he's tied forever with, got the winning hit in that World Series. And Charlie, of all the great things he's done, that's the most thing that people remember Charlie Nagy for. So 20 years later, the guy from literally next door pitches the Astros to the World Series with his great relief job. So in what's the likelihood of 2 guys that basically grew up in towns right next to each other getting into the World Series to begin with, but having this tie will be for history 20 years later and 20 years apart? And for Charlie, that extra inning game, there's only been 3 in the past 90 years of extra innings, And if it wasn't for Jose Mesa, Charlie might have been a world champion. Two teams that the Indians lost, and now the Indians were part of. The Indians have been part of two of the three. They lost to the Cubs in 2016 and in '97, both extra inning games. So that tie, we've had a lot of Hall of Famers. Bobby Valentine's managed the Mets. Tim Puffle was a world champion.
Yes, great player.
Coached with the Mets in the World Series. So we've had guys, and going back to a guy that George Kiddo Davis in the 1930s was our first World Series guy from Bridgeport. Played for the New York Giants. They won the World Series. So our history goes back in such big ways, but this really came to light, with Charlie Morton. They both have the same name, Charlie.
Yeah.
20 years later, from towns next to each other. So more than coincidence, and it's a great story for both of them because they will be tied in our local lore, forever.
Forever. No, that is certainly for sure. The one question I wanted to ask you, with any Hall of Fame, be it Cooperstown, be it Springfield, be it Canton, be it whatever, is why is so-and-so in but not so-and-so? Do you get a lot of that?
Well, we have had a few. But you know what? Early on, I don't want to call them no-brainers, but a lot of the people knew that those folks needed to get in there. Now, this is the 13th year we've been doing it. Yes, particularly the people who are voting now are finding it very, very difficult to who's deserving. They're all deserving. And we've only had one incident. I'd say instance, not incident.
Mm-hmm.
There's a coach at one of the high schools, I won't say who it is, who's a football coach, pretty legendary, who's not in yet. But a lot of the coaches that are in, Tone, are multiple sport coaches.
Right.
We're also the athletic director. Had some other things.
Yeah.
So that's what we've seen. And I would say the response has always been, it might be a kind of who is that, but when they hear about him, wow, how come I didn't know about him? That's what we really want to do. And the fact that people are talking about it now, and who's in, who's not, why didn't this person get in, who got votes, we'll be coming up with that with the Baseball Hall of Fame pretty soon. And at least we don't have the steroid era for the most part. It's voted on by committees of some of our board members, former media, current media, geographically from all towns. So we think it's been a fair process, and we've named the three wings of our Hall of Fame, our Jackie Robinson professional wing. For many people might know that he spent most of his adult life at Stanford.
He sure did.
James O'Rourke is another Baseball Hall of Famer, the orator from Bridgeport. Got the first hit in the National League. Is the head of our amateur wing. And J. Walter Kennedy, who was the commissioner of the NBA, was also the mayor.
Mayor of Stanford. Yeah, he went to St. John's Church.
Helped grow basketball in the '60s. So we have those three people that are actually already in as well because they're enshrined as the names of each of the three wings that we have.
It's an amazing legacy, and I have chills just looking at it. Tom, in our closing minutes together, hours of the museum and or the Hall of Fame, and where people can get in touch with you. Okay, well, the Hall of Fame is down at the UConn Stanford campus. There's only one terrific big building, although it's expanding. And basically, when the school is open, which typically is Monday through Friday from 9 to 5, I would say. Saturdays would be probably just in the early afternoon. And you can go to our website, which is all one word, Fairfield County, County, sports.com. That's the best way to check out. We have a really big, in-depth website with a lot of historical information and a lot about what we do. And, we're a nonprofit. We really work with youth organizations throughout Fairfield County to kind of fill in the gaps, to supplement and complement what they do, help them grow and sustain their programs, and keep the kids active. Fantastic. Well, listen, I'll be seeing you soon. Thank you for sharing these moments with us, and continued success as always. All right, Tony. Thank you very much. Same with the show. And you're doing a great job here, and I'm glad I got a chance to get back on. Thank you. Well, thanks very much.